بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome dear students. Today inshallah in our lesson we finished unit 3. Inshallah today we will start the expansion units from unit 1 till unit 3. So basically it's a revision of what we have covered, the grammar we took, the vocabulary we took before. Inshallah today we will focus only on language review. So we will only do the first lesson on the expansion units. So last class what did we take? What did we cover? We covered form, meaning and function. We covered the time clauses. When do we use the time clauses? How do we use the time clauses? It's not a sentence on its own. It starts with the conjunction, like, can you remind me? When, while, as soon as. These are some of the conjunctions we start the time clause with. Excellent. Also, we learned the prepositions of movement. Before we start, I just want to recap the whole unit, since we just finished unit 3. So the whole unit, what did it talk about? It's about when are you traveling? So it's basically we're talking about traveling, vocabulary about traveling. Excellent. Do you remember the grammar we covered? Yes, we talked about the present continuous, the present continuous, the present progressive. We talked about it. How to use it to talk about now and also for future events. We also covered will. When do we use will? When do we use the present progressive to talk about future events? Also the pronunciation of verbs that end with ing. How do we pronounce it? We listened to conversation. We elicited details from it. We did the reading. We did the project. Imagining that you are doing an advertisement to attract students from outside Saudi to study inside Saudi. Also, you wrote an email. We learned how do we write an email. These basically the main things we have covered during our lesson unit, unit 3. So inshallah today, by the end of this lesson, the language review, what you will recall, this is not a new information, this is just a revision of how to use, so you will use the previous knowledge to talk about past memory. So we will use the past to talk about our memories. Also, you will form and form questions and ask using the present progressive. Read and scan the text for details. So we will have two texts. We will read it. We will scan it. We will answer the questions related to it. At the end, we have the discussion. So we will have a topic and we will discuss the topic together. Okay? So can you open your books page 32? Page 32. You have the first exercise. Before we do the exercise, I want to remember how do we use the past tense. Since we're going to use in this exercise, we will use the past tense. So how do we form the past tense? Can you remind me how do we form it? When do we use it? So if I ask you, what did you do yesterday? What did you do yesterday? How can you answer? I was studying. Excellent. I studied yesterday. I read yesterday. I exercised yesterday. I went to the mall yesterday. So these are some of your examples, excellent examples. So we sometimes have the verbs ed or the for the regular, and also we have the irregular, like go, it will become went. So I don't say I go or I goed, la, I will say I went. This is not a new information. This is basically what we covered. Like here, some of the example, we use the past tense to express the idea that an action started and finished at the past, in a specific time in the past. Example, I ate my breakfast. It was very tasty. I did my homework yesterday. These are examples. These statements, we covered it in the previous lesson. Also, this is how we form the sentence. We have the pronouns, we have the regular, irregular verb, and we continue the sentence. This is how we form it. This is an example. I bought a book last week. Simple past tense with the verb to be. Sometimes the sentence, it has a verb to be, not like go, study, not a regular verb, a main verb. Sometimes we have the verb to be. Okay, what do? We use was, he, she, it, I, was, and you, we, they, we use were. Okay, then we continue the sentence. Okay, and also, if you can remember, do you remember we talked about also in that lesson, we talked about the passive voice, the active and the passive. I ate the apple. This is the active. The passive, the apple was eaten. Okay, and also we have this one. This is one form of passive. Be born. When you're talking about yourself and in the past, I was born on May 15th. She was born in Saudi. Okay, so this is be born. How do we use it to talk about your birth? Okay. Also, we talked about used to. When do we use used to? When I tell you I used to play outside when I was 7 years old. Used to are the things we do every day. Now, لا. In the past. Things we do, always do, habitual activities that we used to do in the past, but now we stopped. We don't do it anymore. Okay? So the affirmative, when I was little, I used to play with toys. So this is how we form. Now, do I still play with toys? La, I stopped. Okay, this is something I used to do. With the negative, I didn't used to play. We need didn't. The question, did you used to? I didn't say used because we already have did here. Also here with the negative, used to. But here, because we don't have did, used to play, okay? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. What did you, with the WH questions, what did you use to play with? I used to play with toys. So this is basically a recap, a revision for the things we have covered in the previous. So let's do the exercise. خلاص, we already, in general, covered the past simple, okay? So let's do the exercise. We have here, okay, some information. You will talk about your childhood memories. You have these questions from 1 to 8. So you have to complete it, but you don't tell me toys. Don't give me words. You have to give me full sentences, full statements, okay, to answer this question. Like, for example, place and date of birth. Can you tell me May 15th, Jeddah? لا. You have to give me a full statement based on the information before. Here, be born. Okay, so we will use the information we have covered, before. So you will say, I was born, and you continue. Full statements. Pause the video. Look at the question, answer it, and then compare it with your partner. Find someone around the class and compare the answers. Look at your answers, look at your sentences. And if you notice anything, you can correct each other's mistakes, if there is any. I'm sure you did excellent job answering these questions. But if you see anything wrong, tell him, لا, this is wrong. This is how we form the sentence, and argue. Maybe you are wrong. They will say, no, this is how we do it. So you have to explain the rules to each other again and discuss the answers together, okay? Now let's see a sample answer. I did it. You should write your own. Don't follow these, write your own. Place and date of birth. I was born on May 15th in Riyadh. This is how I answered the first question. 2 earliest memories. What is the earliest memories? I used to live in Jeddah. This is one of the earliest memories I remember. Favorite toy. My favorite toy was a teddy bear. Favorite teacher, elementary school, my favorite teacher was Mrs. Amal or Mr. Saeed. So based on your memories. Best friend in elementary school, my best friend was Tala, or you can say Abdulaziz, based on you. Favorite pastime as a child, I used to eat a lot of chocolate. This is one of my best favorite pastimes. 7 things you used to do. I used to play with toys. Things you didn't used to. I didn't used to play video games. This is something I didn't used to do. So this is for part A on your page, the first page. So for the second, we have this exercise. Write questions for the following answers. So here we have answers. خلاص. We have to form the questions. We have to write the questions, and we have to remove the underlined phrase. Okay? Doing next week. So we have to ask based on that. Okay? Use the underlined word in each question. So you have to use this to form your question. How do you, here, which tense is it? Is it past? لا. This is something we took in the previous lesson. Unit 3. So this is the present progressive. Do you remember how we form the questions? Let's recall it here. Let's remember again. We use the present progressive tense to talk about action happening now or in the future sometimes, okay? Definite arrangement in the future. My friends are waiting for me. Or my friends are arriving tomorrow. So this is how we form but here we're focusing on questions, not sentences. Here we're focusing on questions. So you start based on the sentence, you look at it. Which one you're going to use? What, how, when? If you're asking about a reason, we will say why. If you're asking about something, we say what. Time, we use when. So we use the WH word, then the verb to be in present, and then we have the pronoun, and then we continue the sentence with the verb ing, okay? What are you doing tonight, or what are you doing now? This is an example. Now, not only we have WH questions, we have sometimes yes, no questions. So if you look at the answer and it starts with no or yes, then you have to use this one. You have to use these, how to form a yes, no question. We start with the verb to be, pronoun, then the verb ing, and we continue the question, okay? This is how we form it. Example, are you doing the homework now? Is she going with us tonight? This is the example, okay? Now let's see. خلاص, you already remembered how we use the present progressive. You already know, okay? Pause the video, look at the statements in front of you, the sentences. Try to write the question. Try to write the question. So here the answer, I will do number 1 with you, okay? I don't know what I am doing next Thursday. So this is, I will replace it. I will use this one. Doing next Thursday. So what should I say? What? Excellent. I start with what are you, because here the answer I am. So what are you doing next Thursday? Question mark. I don't know what I'm doing next Thursday. So the answer is I don't know, okay? So try to answer the following ones. Pause the video, think about it, discuss it with your friends, talk about it, how can you answer these questions, and then let's see the answers together, okay? What are you doing next Thursday? This is for number 1, we did it together. And number 2, it starts with no. So we have to form a yes, no question. So I want to include this. So what should I say? Are you going to do your, not my, your homework tomorrow? No, I'm going to do my homework tonight, because I can't use tonight because the answer is no. Okay? 3, he will probably, so will, we use it for the future. So how can we use will? Will he go to college after high school? Their friends are arriving. The question is, when are their friends arriving from Syria? Number 5, where is she going to meet her sister? These are the questions, okay? Now, look at your book. We have at the bottom, we have a picture of, what is this? A kind of animal. What is it? A tiger. Excellent, it's a tiger. Have you ever seen a tiger before? Yes? Where? In the zoo? Yes, you saw it in the zoo. I don't think you will be alive if you saw it outside in the wild, right? So here he wants you to complete. We have a paragraph about tigers, okay? So you have to complete it, put the verbs. طيب يا مس أي tense أستخدم? Which tense? It depends on the paragraph. You have to read it. If they are talking about something in the future, what are you going to use? You either going to use will or the present progressive. طيب, which one يا miss? If you see the word, do you remember when we said will, we use it with probably, maybe? So if you see probably, then automatically it's will, okay? Will, you will use it. But if it's a fixed arrangement in the future, you use the present progressive. Also, if you're talking about something in the past, if they're talking about something in the past, you will use the past tense. If they are talking about facts, numbers, the facts, we use the present simple. Do you remember the present simple? Like, he studies, or the sun rises. Okay, this is a fact. The sun rises every day. With factual things that are fact, we use the present simple. Okay, if it's she, he, it, we add verb s. If it's they, we, etc., we use only the verb. Okay, let's see the paragraph. Okay, read it, think about it. Okay, pause the video, look at the clues you can see. Like we will look at the first one. Okay, what probably become of Siberian tiger? So I saw here probably. So what should I put here? Excellent. Will. Do you remember? Will. What will probably become of the Siberian tiger, an endangered species, in the future? So we already know we're using, for the future, we're using either present progressive or will. But we saw probably, then automatically we put will. Okay? Look at the other ones, read it first, then try to figure out the answer. Okay? Now let's do it together. Let's read it together. Okay? I will read, please follow. What will probably become of the Siberian tiger, an endangered species, in the future? There are now only about 400 to 500 Siberian tigers in the wild. Will authorities be able to protect them? Siberian tigers live in the forest of Eastern Asia, northern China, and Manchuria, but the majority survive in the Usiland region of Russia. Some tigers are born and raised in zoos, not in the wild. And an adult male normally weighs 440 to 660 pounds, which is equal to 200 to 300 kilograms and measures about 13 feet 4 meters from head to tail. They are very large animals and consume a lot of food every day because of the cold climate. At one meal, a Siberian tiger can eat up to 95 pounds, 45 kilograms of meat. Like all big cats, they hunt for their food. They sometimes leave some of their catch in trees so other predators can see it or find it. If they can't eat it all in one meal, they take a nap and finish it off later. So these are all information about tigers. We used 3 tenses. We used will for the future, present progressive. We used also, we used the here for live, number 4 and number 6, because these are facts. I know these are factual information. These are based on studies. This is not a made up information. So these information, we use the present simple to fill out these answers, okay? Now, on the other page, page 33, we have a paragraph about pandas, okay? Where do you think pandas live? Where do you think? Where do we usually know that they live where? Yes, around China. I know that there is it's in the bridge of extension, so there is a few number left around the world for when we talk about pandas. But they are in China. Read the text, then use prompts to ask questions about pandas, then answer these questions. So what does he want you to do? We will listen to an audio about pandas. When we finish listening, what does he want you to do? He wants you to look at and read again the paragraph. Try to get some questions. Try to ask questions. When you ask it and when you wrote the questions, try to ask your friends these questions and will they answer? لا, they have to look up for the answers from the reading. So all the questions and the answers should be based on the reading, okay? So you will be like teachers. Take some questions and put it, and your friend will answer these questions, okay? Let's see. I will play the recording, okay? Listen, please, and follow. Listen.
The lovable, cuddly-looking panda is one of the world's most popular animals. Unfortunately, it's also one of the most vulnerable species. Pandas live only in the dense bamboo areas of the misty, rainy forests of southwestern China. Today only about 1,900 pandas remain in the wild. The Chinese government and various conservation organizations are working to protect pandas in their natural habitat. They want to maintain a bamboo corridor through which pandas can move freely. Bamboo shoots and leaves account for 99% of a panda's diet. An adult giant panda eats up to 95 pounds, 45 kilograms, of bamboo per day over a period of about 16 hours. So it is important to have a protected place with a lot of bamboo available.
Okay. Beneath the reading, you have these questions from, you have these like to help you forming the questions. We have words from 1 to 5. So we have for number 1, where live. So we will have to ask about what? Where does pandas live? Okay, so we will ask about the place where they live, okay? So write the questions, use these words to help you form and construct the question. Then look at the answer from the reading. Use the reading to answer it, okay? Pause the video, think about it, look at the questions, write it down, structure the questions, look back at the grammar we have covered before. we know how to answer questions using the past simple and using the present progressive. We also know how to ask about habitual activities like how long and how often. We covered that in the first lesson, first unit. So every unit there are some guidance to help you. Use these information you have to taken before. Use it to form questions. Use the reading to try to find the answers for your questions, and let's see how can we answer, okay? So first, the first one, where do pandas live? This is the first questions. Where do pandas live? The answer, they live only in the bamboo areas of the forest in southern China. Did I made up this information? No, it's from the reading. You have to go back to the reading. Number two, how many pandas remain in the wild? Today, only about 1,600 pandas remain in the wild. How work to protect? So the question will be, how are conservation organizations working to protect pandas in their natural habitat? They want to maintain a bamboo corridor through which pandas can move freely. 4. How much does a panda eat per day? A panda eats up to 45 kilograms of bamboo per day. How long does a panda eat every day? A panda eats for about 16 hours, because I'm asking about duration, a day. Okay? These are for the exercise. The last part we have is the discussion. You have at the bottom of page 33, you have a discussion. Here the question is, are there any endangered or vulnerable species in your country? Here, for the reading and the exercise before, they talked about tigers and pandas. What do they have in common? The thing they have, they are, maybe they will extinct, okay? We will not see pandas anymore. We will not see tigers anymore because they are facing a lot of situations which cause them to become fewer and fewer until we don't have any more. Think about Saudi. Do we have any, Saudi Arabia, we're talking about Saudi Arabia. Do we have any animals that face an extinction? Maybe we will not see them anymore. Do you think we do? Yes, there are. We have some people, they hunt a lot, especially in winter. They hunt a lot, right? So this hunting for fun cause the death of animals, which cause extinction. So these are some of the animals. They are on bridge of extinction here in Saudi. We have the leopard, we have the Arabian gazelle, and these animals, they are facing extinction in Saudi Arabia. Okay? So for question 2, what are the authorities doing about conservation of wildlife in your country? Do you think we have solutions to protect these animals? Yes, the government is doing many things to protect them. Can you tell me? Can you tell me? Excellent. They are forcing laws to tell the hunters don't hunt anymore, to abandon, and there are places where they can put the animals there where it's not a hunting zone, so no one can harm them. They have some preservation to protect the wildlife in Saudi. Okay, so the last question, what can we do to preserve wildlife for future generations? So is there anything else you think we should do to protect the animal for the future generations? So for the future, what else do you think we should do? What do you think? Excellent. We should teach our children to save animals. Excellent. So we teach the next generation how animals are important to our our country, how important is it to still have them in our around and not hunt for fun. So hunting should be, it is a sport, but it should be for a reason, like food. If you're gonna eat the thing you catch, then it's okay, but it's for fun. You shouldn't do it, and they shouldn't do it. So we spread awareness. Okay? So for your homework, since it's a revision, so you have 2 pages as a homework. You have page 107 and 108. You should do it. Inshallah, we will look for the answers next class. So what did we cover this class? We talked about, in the beginning, we talked about past events, your childhood memories. And then we talked about how to form questions using the present progressive. Also, we read about tigers and we read about pandas and we formed questions. We completed the statements about tigers, we formed questions, and also at the end we did a discussion about the endangered animals in our country. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Inshallah, I will see you next class. Good luck.